Call to order, Fall River Redevelopment Authority, notice of open meeting. It's my responsibility to read the open meeting law. Pursuant to the Massachusetts open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Now, do we have Fred TV there?
Yes, we have Alex Mello on the line.
Okay, Alex. Okay, in addition, we're aware that this meeting is being recorded by Fall River Educational TV. Question at this time, we'd like to know whether or not those present can hear me clearly. Could we, we'll do it with a roll call. Let's do the roll call now and let me know if you can hear me. Roll call. You want to ask the roll call, Maria?
Sure. Joe Marshall?
Here.
John Erickson?
Present.
Joan Medeiros?
Oh, you had her.
Joan?
Hi, I'm here.
Can
I had it on mute.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Luis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great.
Okay.
And Lori Branco is absent.
Correct. So, and everybody, I guess, can hear me, so we can go from there. The next item, if you've had a copy of the agenda, is a notice of the resignation of member Lori Branco. Is there a motion to accept and place on file?
I move to accept resignation.
Please begin with your name so that it can be recorded.
Sorry, Joe. John Erickson.
Yeah. Placed in file. Is there a second?
Second, it's Joan. Second.
Joan, second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so moved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the open session meetings that we've received relative to the April 1st meeting and the executive session minutes of March 11th. Is there a motion to accept?
It's Joan, a motion to accept.
Okay, is there a second?
I second. It's Johnny.
Johnny, okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Okay, we got everybody. All right, so moved. Next, and again, Maria, thank you for putting the package together. It was very helpful. Approval of the warrant and financial report.
Actually, Joe,
Yes.
we have item number 2 includes approval of the executive session minutes because there's no
Oh, yes. That's
exemption
right.
applicable.
Okay, I thought we did that. I thought we put those together with the minutes, the executive session of March 11th, but okay, is there a motion to accept the executive session minutes?
I move to accept the executive session minutes. Which date is that, Joe? Just to be clear, it's Johnny.
I believe that was April 1st, right, Maria?
No, March 11th?
Well, March
Because we
11th,
did not-
we just
Right,
approved that.
So which session are we referring to then?
March 11th.
Okay, we already,
executives.
we had a motion in our minutes, on the second item on the agenda, asked for approval of the open session on April 1st and the executive session on March 11th. And we just voted on that and it was approved. It carried. Do you have that, Maria?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, we're set with that then. I'm sorry, Johnny. The third item, again, going to that item, the approval of the warrant and financial report. We did sign, Johnny and I did sign a few things on Monday. Is there any question relative, let me just look at mine too, relative to those?
It's Joan. I just have one question for Maria. We
Sure.
have an item, I know know we approved this Taste Fall River for $500
Yes.
back in March, and of course, the event didn't occur. So I was just wondering why we're still paying it for something that didn't happen.
Let me address that if you don't mind, Maria, because it did come up on Monday when Johnny and I were there. And
Yes.
we treated it, we're going to treat it. She did run it by us. We're going to treat it as a donation. And if they do have the event, we're already in.
And
Okay.
I've gone on their website and it says that it will be rescheduled.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we accepted
problem.
that. Yeah. All right. Any other questions relative to item 3, warrants and financial report? Like I said, Johnny and I were in the office on Monday. We signed off on some warrants and pretty much everything. So is there any other questions? Not a lot of items there anyway.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Can I have a motion in a second then?
Yeah.
I move we approve the warrant and the financial report. And
That's Johnny. Yep.
Yes, Johnny, and
Yeah,
voting
it's Joan, second.
Okay. Second, all in favor, aye.
aye.
Everybody there?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? No. So moved. Also, under item 3A, under the circumstances, we need a vote to amend the banking authorization, removing Maria and Laurie from the authorization. Maria was kind enough to complete the paperwork on that. So I think we need a approval to keep the 4 of us on the authorization. So can someone do that for us? Make a
It's
motion?
actually to affirm that
That's right.
that Joe, John, Joan, and Louis remain as authorized signatories, and to remove Lori and myself.
Yep. Someone want to make that?
I move we accept that new arrangement.
Okay.
I
Johnny.
second. It's Joan. I second it.
Okay. All in favor, aye. Anyone opposed? All right, so move. Maria, will you communicate with the bank and finish that off?
Yep. I also need you to look at and approve or amend the SBAP loan program warrant to pay
Oh, we
those
did-
loans. And then I also need for you to approve the transfer of $200,000 from the savings account to the operating account. That will cover you for the next 3 months.
Oh, I see that on here. Yep. So you want a, because it's included in item 3 of approval of warrant and financial report. You want each one of those to be voted on individually?
I would feel safer.
Okay, because
At least
initially it
that
was,
you acknowledge.
yeah,
that you
initially it was covered
acknowledge-
under the warrant and financial report and the 4 items that were under that. But if you'd feel more comfortable doing that, that's fine.
I do. The first warrant that you did approve, I believe that you had inquiries, was for the operating
Yep, that we did.
expenses. Then we have the loans that will be advanced, for which we will request reimbursement from CDBG funds.
Mhm.
And then the next item is to just transfer
approve
money into the
transfer.
operating account. So when you go to pay bills, you'll have enough to cover and not worry about it for the next
Yep.
3 months.
Yeah, and you don't want to lump those 3 together then?
If sure.
Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with that. So can I have let's try to get through this. Can I have a motion to approve the 3 items that Maria just mentioned? And then go on to the other. We've already.
Operating loan and a transfer into the operating account.
Yes, yes.
I move it's Johnny, I move we approve those 3 items we discussed.
Okay. And
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you.
It's Joan.
Yes, Joan. With all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Louise?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I believe that clarifies it for the auditors next year.
Okay, so we're good on that. And then one other item you mentioned on there, which is fine with me, sending the balance sheet and income statement. We've got that. We're fine. I got no problem with that.
I was hoping to get the auditor's review. They want to reclassify a number of the accounts. She had more questions, so I will send you an income statement and a balance sheet before I leave.
Okay, that's safe. That's
All right.
Next item is Executive Director's Report. That's you.
So with that, you received part of the information regarding the audit for 2018 and 2019. I've been in constant communication with Clifton Larson Allen. At the present time, in order to get you an accurate balance sheet, we want to make sure the classifications are correct and that the carry forwards from previous years. All in all, we are in excellent shape because of, will be reflected in the income statement that for this particular quarter, the Fall River Redevelopment Authority did close a land sale for $2.4 million. In December, we closed another land sale for almost $500,000. So I'm very, very pleased to say that I will be leaving you in sound fiscal health for you to be able to implement all the aspects of the urban renewal plan. So again, these transactions place the RDA on sound financial footing. All of the RDA records are now electronically filed, including all bookkeeping records in compliance with not only accepted accounting procedures, but with public records law. I did mention that we're going to wrap up the 2018 and 2019 audits. So this should be seamless for anybody going forward. And I will also be sending you next week is a final inventory of the land that the Redevelopment Authority owns, as well as a complete book of deeds, maps, as best as I can print them out. And I will also leave you with an operating instructions. I have completed, and Joe, I have for you and for whomever else, a list of all of our schedule of contracts and things that will be coming up for renewal, such as insurance policies. So all in all, again, I'm very pleased to have worked for the wonderful people of Fall River, including all these fabulous business owners that I had the pleasure of working. And again, I'm restoring the Redevelopment Authority to a sound fiscal health.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your efforts. Next item on the agenda is the status of the COVID-19 Small Business Loan / Grant Program. And we have I have a sheet, I think we all do, of the loans. Maria, have any of those been paid out? There's on my paper here, I have 6 loans. Have they been paid out yet, or what's the timeline, if you could?
The timeline is that they were going to closing documents. The lawyers were meeting at the beginning of this week.
Yep.
There were 2 waivers that were required for 2 of the applications. So my last communication with Mike Dion, whose office is processing these loans, is that all the loans will be completed by the end of this week.
Oh, very good. And I think the attorney on that is Matt Burke. Is that correct? Or do you know?
I don't recall his name. I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, that's not a problem. I was just trying to see.
But and we also have 2 more that the final paperwork came in, and so they will be going for further review.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions relative to this issue as far as the loans are concerned, the approval? Anything you hear on the street? Do you have any comments at all? No?
Well, this is Maria. I would like to comment because
Sure.
in regard to the number of loans that were not approved,
Yeah.
it has come to my attention that many of the applicants went directly to the application and did not read the guidelines or the instructions.
Yeah.
And they clearly state the requirements included these CDBG or HUD guidelines regarding 51% of the jobs retained had to be held by low and moderate income persons, and that we would be implementing an asset quality test, and that the loan applications would be undergoing underwriting, among other criteria, including credit scores. So I do understand some of the disconnect now, and I just believe it is because many of the applicants did not read the guidelines. So with that being said, going forward, I mean, you've now identified something that happened. So if the board moves forward again, perhaps you could compensate for that deficit.
Yeah, I understand. Good. All right. Well, that's the status report. Again, thank you for your efforts on this.
Excuse me, Joe, it's Johnny. Maria, you mentioned 2 more that came through. Do you need one of us to come by and check for those 2 parties?
They're going to go, as we discussed, through the CDA first to
Okay.
have that reviewed on the CDBG funding guidelines. And then if appropriate, I will let you know.
Good.
Okay.
This will all happen by the beginning of next week.
Thank you. Any other discussion, any other questions of Maria? Get her now. Okay, I think we can move on then. Okay, Ken, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, number 6, discussion of City Pier. I'm going to defer because Johnny has actually physically been involved in this. And I hate to throw this at you, Johnny, but you've got a lot of new knowledge. And then I've asked Kenny to sign on for the local knowledge. And of course, Joan has been involved in this too. Can you kind of bring us up to date, Johnny, what you've seen? And Maria, I'm not excluding you from this, but let me start with you. Do you have any comments relative to the City Pier project? Maria?
That we are in compliance with the DEP notice of violation.
Good.
That we did present to the board of when you first arrived, a proposed game plan of what to do next. And I think that's where John and Joan jumped in.
Yep.
So that's where we are.
No, that's
today.
fine. No, I wanted to make sure you could weigh in on this because you brought us to a certain point and now we're going forward. So, John, do you want to tell us about your observation? Then we'll drag Kenny in on maybe what's the next step or what he sees or what has been seen. Johnny, you want to start it off like you've gone with Beta and you've been on the site and you want to tell us what you've seen?
Yes, Joe. As Maria mentioned, we did back in March, I believe it was. We did with HAR. We did get the paperwork in that put us in compliance for now. I have met with Beta on 2 occasions. The first time with Mary Armstrong and with Joe McLaughlin, and who was involved. I believe Kenny remembers Joe from previous dealings there. He's very familiar with the project. That was our initial meeting. Then met on site with 2 of the landscape architects, and they did some work for us. I forwarded all you guys.
Yes.
I think some of it was still coming in today.
Yeah.
But the
I don't have any of those copies here, John. Did you send them to me?
To all of us, I think.
yeah.
Let me, I'm going to look.
I'll forward it.
Thank you.
Okay, good, even better, because I don't want to lose anybody.
Yeah,
Okay,
so obviously the three initial items that we need to address there are the walkways, the lighting, and the railing. So
Johnny, can I interrupt just a second, because I have to ask Kenny. Ken, did you get a copy of the early thoughts for the city pier?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay, never mind. Okay, sorry, John.
yeah. One of them just came in today. So so basically we they've familiarized themselves, they being Beta, with all the we provided them with all the information that we had. Maria forwarded me several things in the last week, which they have from previous LSPs and whatnot. So they're up to speed on what's going on. They've also had conversations with the DEP, and what we want to do as soon as we can is have some sort of a telcon or something with DEP and Kim Tyson from EPA, and basically tell them what we're looking to do at this stage. The initial response from the DEP, when Mary Lou from Beta explained to them what we were trying to do first, they seemed to be in agreement with it. So that's the next step.
Okay. Maybe if Joan doesn't have any comment, maybe it's a good time to open the door and ask for Kenny's comments.
No, I have none. I'm on board with John's report on this.
Okay, Ken, you want to kind of pick it up from there? Because what we're down the road, we're ready. Can you kind of give us a history, and if you see any, you've heard what our plans are.
Yeah.
Do you see any problem with what we're talking about?
No,
Or
so
do you have other knowledge.
no, I think we've gotten to the point now with the city pier where the Redevelopment Authority can take progressive steps
Good.
to actually start closing out the overall pier project. And part of that closure process consists of, the capping of the site, the development of activities use limitation, and also making the site available to the public via walkways, lighting, railing, and ultimately, preparing the site for use as if the Redevelopment Authority decides to do so, a marina or a transient marina at some point, because that's what the whole DEP, EPA remediation plan was based upon. So when we look at the city pier now, we, I think, are in a position to move forward with the installation, the design of a design that would be suitable to the Redevelopment Authority, but a design consisting of the installation of sidewalks, lighting, and railings, and potential capping of at least the 82,000 square foot area that was designated as an AUL, so that the site could be then made accessible to the public. So in my thinking, I was, hoping that maybe there's a way we could tie this work, or at least phases of this next considered, work, into some of the city's contracts for sidewalks and other things, so that you could get a bigger bang for the buck by being part of the city's contract, as opposed to going out and separately bidding things and having it, as a standalone project. It would be somewhat similar to what we did in the last phase of the city pier project, where the city contracted with the Redevelopment Authority to actually put in the sleeve into the CSO tunnel that was there. They contracted with the with the Redevelopment Authority, and made it part of the Redevelopment Authority's contract. This time around, the Redevelopment Authority could partner with the city as it pertained to the sidewalks, lighting, railing, and also potentially asphalting.
That's good. That's very good.
I should also I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I should also say that there's also a Seaport Council bond, Seaport Council grant that may be available to the Redevelopment Authority. Applications are due on June 1st. I know that the grant writer's been fooling around with some of that information as part of that, in the event that the Redevelopment Authority wanted to do that.
Mhm.
But if you used the Redevelopment Authority's investments in the sidewalks, railing, and lighting as a local match, that would be allowable under the grant program, and you could potentially receive a grant up to $1 million from the Seaport Council for other aspects of the project, whether it's asphalting or some other areas.
Joan or Johnny, do you have a motion, or do you have any questions or anything associated with the discussion?
So Kenny, just to clarify, by going this route, it would avoid redevelopment having to go out on its own and put out RFPs and so forth for the work. We would just partner with the city on projects they're already involved with doing similar type work right now, correct?
Yeah, so the city annually goes out for roadway contracts and sidewalk contracts. So since the major components of the city pier improvements consist of sidewalks and potentially asphalting of the areas over the cap, that would be an easy thing to marry to those contracts, because you're pretty much just talking about quantities. The design would be real easy, in terms of the width and depth of the sidewalk. And then it may have to be a little design work provided for the lighting and the wiring of those lights themselves.
Good. Any other discussion? Johnny, Joan, Luis?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's Johnny talking. I would move that we move in the direction of those two items that Kenny just mentioned.
Do you have a vote? Do you have a motion? What's your motion?
So we want to do two
motions.
separate votes are needed, Joe?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay,
whoever-
so I would make a motion to vote to authorize the chair to enter into a contract with the city of Fall River in an amount not to exceed $1,600,000. And that would include the installation of sidewalks, lighting, wiring, and railing, and all the necessary things for the northern, western, southern piers improvements to the city pier. In accordance with a design specification to be prepared for the Redevelopment Authority and submitted to the city of Fall River.
Okay, so that's your motion. Is there a second motion to that? No?
It's Johnny, I second that.
Okay. All in favor, aye? Luis, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any opposition? Okay, so moved. All right, that motion carries. Anything else relative to the $1 million that we were talking about, the grant writing? Does anybody want to make a motion relative to that and accepting that?
I move that we accept that. It's Johnny, Joe, as well.
Yeah. Do you have the motion? Did you write the motion out? Do you have the motion available to?
I just lost it on my other screen, Joe.
You had it. Okay.
I was just trying to retrieve it.
Okay. All
And it's
right.
beta and lost it.
All right. Well, I don't know. If we got the idea, Joan, do you want to make that motion?
I can do that. So
Okay,
a motion
John,
to vote
don't
to authorize
fret.
the chair to utilize the cost of sidewalk, railing, lighting, and timber piling for the city pier as a local match for the submission, acceptance, and execution of a Seaport Council Innovation Grant request and award as prepared by the city grant writer in the amount of $1 million for the asphalt capping of the city pier site in that area located between the northern, western, and southern piers and bulkhead.
Good. Okay, so that's a motion to work with the grant writer for the $1 million.
I second that, Joe. It's Johnny.
Johnny, okay. Luis, you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you, obviously, you've put some thought into this and written it out, so would, either of you please send me that so I make sure I get that verbatim?
Yeah, Joan, can you?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because you made the motions. Thank you very much. All in favor, aye. Is there anyone opposed? Well, that's us. So moved.
All right.
Any other discussion? That's the sixth item. Any other discussion relative to the city pier? It's an ongoing project, and we're expecting things to start happening now, providing we can get these things through and get the money to do them. Kenny, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, that's it. I can sign off at this point, and thank you for the invitation to join the
Okay.
meeting tonight.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you. The seventh item, because it just came in today, under new business, I got a letter. Actually, it's an engagement letter from John Coughlin for renewing the contract. It's I heard it's exactly the same as the other one. It's ongoing, but they just, with the new board, he just wants to sign on. So I'm looking for a motion to authorize me to sign the engagement letter with John Coughlin's firm for ongoing legal work.
Joe, I motion that it's Johnny, that we sign that engagement letter for John Coughlin.
Okay. Is there a second for that?
It's Joan. I second it.
Okay. Luis, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Hearing no objection, that motion is moved. Is there any other new business under new business that we haven't? No? Okay, hearing none. Maria, do you have anything else to say before we look for an adjournment?
No, I think, we're good.
Okay, that was good. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn. It's Johnny, Joe.
That's Johnny. Second?
Second.
Second by Joan. Luis, you ready to give up? Okay. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Nobody opposed? Maria, thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Maria.
Maria.
Thank you, everyone.
And
I wish you well. Use the money that I earned for you wisely.
We'll think of you every time we write a check.
Oh, thank you.
Maria, did you get those sketch plans?
She did.
Yes, I did, John. Thank you very much. I'd like to put it as part of the minutes, so that would be great.
Luis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Put both hands on the
everybody. Have a
wheel. I'll
good
see you
night.
later.
Take care.
All right.